The top agent was aiming at the target, about to pull the trigger, but he was suddenly embraced from behind in a tight hug, causing the bullet to veer off course and hitting Shlomo, a patient with AIDS, in the shoulder. His blood splattered across the crowd, finally rushing into Daniel's mouth, mixing into his body through the wound of the oral ulcer. Agent Sebastian, furious and frustrated, interrogated Nobby. Nobby seemed out of sorts. He immediately claimed that Sebastian was his long-lost brother. In that moment, the two brothers gazed at each other.
In the days we were running.
In the next second, Pavel took advantage of the chaos and haphazardly shot and killed Rhonda, then swiftly exited the scene, leaving Sebastian as the only suspicious figure holding a gun. He was mistakenly seen as a traitor by the organization. With no other choice, he had to make a run for it. So, he aimed at his own car, leaped over the barrier, expecting a stylish landing but ended up stumbling. In the next second, Nobby followed suit and jumped down as well, only to have his foot crushed, causing severe injuries. As they got into the car, Nobby accidentally pressed a button, activating the missile system. The traffic police officer was instantly blown to pieces. In the next second, the police started chasing them, but Nobby unexpectedly rolled down the car window, openly provoking them. One has to admit, this brother is no ordinary person, because he infected Daniel with AIDS in just 3 seconds, achieving what even Lord Voldemort couldn't do in 8 movies. Not only that, he also framed a highly valued old agent as a traitor, making the organization hunt him down. To prove his innocence, Sebastian secretly contacted his partner, let her help find the real culprit, while he followed his brother to their hometown. When the other party showed the children some photos, he suddenly noticed something. He grabbed the phone and zoomed in. It was Pavel, the one who framed him. He immediately sent the photo to his partner, asking her to access the global facial recognition system, believing they would soon uncover the true culprit and clear his name. Now all he had to do was to stay in a place with no one around, waiting for good news from his partner. But as the lights in the room turned on, Sebastian was startled. A professional reflex. Fortunately, no one was injured. Soon, members of the organization arrived at the scene. It's true, one fears not the godlike opponent but the pig-like teammate. Now the outside was filled with members of the organization.
Excuse me, sir. I think you dropped something.
In the next second, a wheelchair came crashing in, followed by a flurry of punches and kicks. The boy exerted force once again, and it was the vicious dog's turn to fight. On their side, Sebastian, the younger brother, didn't believe he was shot, but this bullet was poisoned. If the toxin wasn't extracted within 90 seconds, Sebastian would die. Without hesitation, Nobby aimed at his brother's shoulder and sucked vigorously, finally spitting out a puddle of venom, but he was hit in another place as well. Nobby immediately broke down on the spot. After all, he was a straight male, but by this time, the toxin had already started spreading. It was about to reach his kidneys. There was no time to waste, so when the villagers arrived, they witnessed a strange scene. It's best not to panic and capture everything on camera to share online. Soon enough, the video of the two brothers was seen by the assassination organization. Now even Nobby became a target. The fortunate part in this unfortunate situation was, Sebastian's partner found information about Pavel, who framed Sebastian, through the facial recognition system, and Pavel was currently in South Africa, preparing for the next step of the operation with Joris. Soon enough, the two brothers also arrived in South Africa, and Sebastian's next mission was quite unusual. He had to seduce Joris' wife to obtain the information they needed, but just before departure, he made a mistake with the drugs, mixing up the medicine with sleeping pills. Sebastian passed out just like that, but the mission had to continue. So, the most unreliable spy in history was born. Nobby had to complete the upcoming tasks on behalf of his brother. He put on his brother's specially crafted invisible glasses. Once given a command, the organization would see what these eyes saw. They arrived at the destination hotel, and Sebastian's partner repeatedly instructed Nobby.
She's wearing a green dress and she's absolutely gorgeous.
As a result, Nobby was soon attracted by Banu. He walked straight past the real target and approached Banu from behind, inviting her to his room. Nobby's toilet was clogged, so he called the front desk for someone to come and fix it. Lena took the opportunity to knock on the door, but she never expected him to open the toilet seat and hand her a clothes hanger. He actually asked her to unclog the toilet for him. Soon, the janitor who came to fix the toilet also arrived in the room, but unexpectedly, Nobby poured himself a glass of wine.
Signal from Graves' lens, sir. Put it up. So.
But to their surprise, the person poured a drink instead. They wondered what strange things they were doing. When they zoomed in on the card on the table, their whereabouts were exposed. Sebastian hurriedly arrived, but before he could finish asking his question, the organization's people attacked. A rocket launcher struck, turning the area into a blazing inferno. The two brothers rolled down the hill. The exposed terrain left them with no place to hide. A group of black-clad individuals approached the herd of elephants. The two brothers they were just chasing after had suddenly disappeared. Meanwhile, Nobby's slipper accidentally fell out. They immediately noticed it and raised it suspiciously, looking towards the elephant's tail. Then, in no time, there was no sound outside, but just as they were about to leave, a male elephant slowly approached from a distance, then climbed onto the back of a female elephant. The rest, you can imagine for yourself. This incident left a deep shadow on the two brothers. Although they almost peeled off their skin while taking a shower, they still felt like they hadn't cleaned every part of their bodies. But all of that didn't matter anymore because they were now flying to Chile. They were not only fulfilling their childhood dream of watching a soccer match, but also trying to stop the villains from spreading a virus. However, Sebastian never imagined that Nobby's enthusiastic fellow countrymen would also show up. The heightened voices immediately exposed Sebastian's location. Trouble didn't come alone. The person who framed Sebastian, with the help of his accomplices, took him away, eventually leading him to a hidden factory. And this time, Sebastian finally met the employer behind Pavel, the organizer of the initial global conference. She had gone to great lengths not only to eliminate cameras but also to spread a disease caused by a virus. Once the match ended, the virus would spread throughout the entire stadium, with symptoms appearing only 2 to 3 weeks later. By that time, nearly 100,000 fans from around the world would have returned home, unknowingly spreading the disease. All this effort was done because the world's population of 7 billion was living on a planet meant to sustain only 5 billion. She wanted to bring the world closer and make it a better place by eliminating the excess population.
Why are you doing this?
But now, Sebastian's primary concern was his own life. He struggled to activate the tracker on his neck. Meanwhile, Nobby also had a reaction. Unexpectedly, one of Nobby's initial mistakes became the key to saving Sebastian. And this time, Nobby finally fought the enemy like a man, not willing to give up even when his face was swollen from the blows. Luckily, he picked up a handgun, just as the enemy was about to mock him for lacking courage. Nobby shot him in the head.
Fire!
Perhaps it was his innate talent. In the end, Nobby single-handedly stormed the prison cell and rescued Sebastian. When they hurriedly arrived at the sports stadium, the real battle had just begun. Sebastian's partner began searching for the location of the virus while Nobby rallied his fellow countrymen to charge towards the opposing side. However, they arrived quickly and left just as quickly. Due to their intense running, the fellow countrymen's stamina dwindled, and they were ultimately eliminated. Soon, Sebastian's partner found the location of the virus. Surprisingly, the enemy had hidden the virus inside fireworks. Now, Nobby's task was to immediately kill Rhonda. However, as someone solely focused on the game, he chose to shoot the ball into the goal with one shot and then shot the referee who was preparing to blow the whistle when it was time to deal with the woman with short hair. Unfortunately, Nobby's gun jammed, so everyone could only watch helplessly as the fireworks were ignited. It was too late for everything. However, the two brothers made an unexpected move that surprised everyone. After determining the two central beams of fireworks, they bravely sat on them. In the end, they were sent into the sky and landed safely. Nobby accidentally fired a bullet that hit Daniel's shoulder and ended up entering Trump's mouth. Miraculously, the brothers survived because the elephants' bodies contained antibodies to the virus. And coincidentally, there were traces of it in their bodies. Besides some injuries, they were relatively unharmed. In the final moments of the story, the family's life returned to normal, and Nobby, thanks to his astonishing shooting accuracy, was recruited by the organization and became a top-level agent like his brother. The only difference was that this agent didn't give the other party a chance to speak.